So in today's video, I want to show you the 7 most common design mistakes that we see a lot of e-commerce brands making when it comes to designing their emails. Now, a lot of these mistakes are probably going to be preventing you from actually scaling your brand to 6 to 7 figures with your back-end remarketing. So let's just go ahead and look at these mistakes and, of course, best practices for design.
So let's actually go ahead and check out the 7 most common mistakes people make in terms of email design. Now, if you stick with me by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to go ahead and create emails that not only convert, but also help you scale with, of course, brand consistency. So let's go ahead and look at the first mistake. Now, poor mobile optimization. I've got a graphic here to sort of illustrate desktop versus mobile. There is actually a quick fix for this, but let's actually look at what happens if you don't take this into consideration. So the facts and also the stats. Mobile is the most popular reading environment with 44.7% of the share. Mobile email accounts for 26 to 78% of email open rates. And of course, the 71.6% of consumers will delete emails if they don't look good on mobile. So this is essentially what will happen is basically it will lower your conversions, ROI, and also result in higher unsubscribes. So you want to make sure that you're designing this with mobile intent as well. Now, what we do is just make sure that we have a maximum width of 600 pixels for our email designs, and that should cover, of course, this column that you see for both email and desktop. Mistake number 2. So the second mistake we see a lot of brands make is they just have a cluttered layout. So for example, what we've done for this brand here, Maxi Nutrition, you'll see on the left they've got a cluster of just different layout for collections, graphics here for I think that Instagram, and again Trustpilot, reviews. Like there's a lot of cluster here. So that's the second mistake. What we'd always oppose doing is just having it in one column. So rather than having 3 blocks here, as you can see, like there's 3 columns, it's too clustered, right? At a max, obviously you'll have 2, but ideally you'd want to keep it to 1 column, as you can see here, nice and consistent, and you can easily go down the email. So that was mistake number 2. Now, the third mistake we see is a lack of clear call to actions. Now, either a lack of clear call to actions, or I'd go as far as saying too many call to actions. So for example here, this brand has got like women's collection, men collection, shoes. It doesn't even look like a call to action, it's just like one cluster of different collections here. I'd never advise doing this in this format for an email. I think this is a really outdated email anyway, you can sort of tell from the screenshot that we've got here. So yeah, having too many call to actions will create decision fatigue and result in a lower click-through rate. Too little call to actions will have the same effect as well. And also CTAs that don't even look like buttons, they won't get clicked. So for example, Airbnb here, see what it says, add photo, add verifications, and start exploring. Yeah, you can see it's a call to action button, but when it comes to conversions and emails as a whole, you want to sort of have basically a contrasting color for the call to action buttons. That's just a general rule of thumb as well when it comes to website conversion or anything that you want to draw attention to. So that's pretty much mistake number 3 we see. Now mistake number 4 is just inconsistent branding. Now this is a really shock example as well from this brand here. These are actually the same brands, but you probably wouldn't be able to tell it unless it had this logo at the top here, which matches this one. So you can just see a random clash of colors here. This makes no sense whatsoever. And then this one on the right just looks like a complete different brand. So things that you want to keep in mind to, of course, keep consistent and the same throughout all of your emails is the logo. So use the same logo for all emails. Now, when it comes to mobile versus desktop, you can actually adapt this because sometimes your logo might not fit on mobile as well as it would on desktop and vice versa. So you just want to play around with that. But again, just keep it consistent. Fonts, so I would advise creating a list of fonts for your headings, your subheadings, and also your body text. That's just a general rule of thumb. Again, you should have this with your brand palette or your brand guidelines when you've actually innovated your brand from scratch. If not, go ahead and do that. And again, I do the same thing as well with colors as well. Make sure you've got a color palette for your brand. Tonality, keep tone and language for your brand the same as well. And also imagery, just make sure your imagery is cohesive throughout. So that's mistake number 4. Now, mistake number 5 is ignoring accessibility. So The reason's simple, right? If people are having trouble viewing, reading, clicking, or even understanding your email campaigns, they're not going to take the action that you have intent, right? They're not going to do what you need them to do. So always set an intention for the email, make sure it is tailored to a specific goal, that being to either add value and educate people, add trust, via social proof, brand story, or objection handling, and also just to incentivize people as well. If it's strictly a sale email, you want to have that offer there, right? Another thing to make sure that you're doing as well when it comes to your emails is making sure it can be read by a 6th grader. A lot of people overcomplicate language and use terminology that a lot of people don't actually understand. So what you want to do is go ahead and check out a website called Readable, and just go ahead and of course use your copy in here. So you can literally put in here like your entire email and just make sure it's basically passes the 6th grade tool, right? Next step as well is just make sure when you are having contrasting colors and you're doing it efficiently, coming back to my point earlier for call to actions, this basically shows good for accessibility when there's two contrasting colors that basically don't blend together. So for example, bad contrasting colors here, it's just basically lighter shades, so you wouldn't put white and grey together because you're just not going to be able to read the text or anything of that matter, right? So that's the 5th mistake. 6th mistake, so neglecting A/B testing. Now this can be applicable for both email and also your sign up form. So for example, on email here, only split test one thing at a time. So for here it's literally just the image versus not having an image. That's one thing that's split testing here. Again, sign up forms, just split testing an image, as you can see here, and again you can see the effect on the sign up rate percentage just by doing so. Lastly as well, call to actions. I would definitely advise split testing different colors for call to actions, and even if it's like, for example, an offer here like only 40% today, I would say get 40% off as a call to action to test. Just small things like that. So things to split test: color of call to action buttons, color layout of the entire email as well within your brand guidelines, incentives to split test, so how you actually frame your offer or just different offering as a whole, titles, so design and language used for just headlines essentially, copy as well, big factor there, so it could even be the angle that you're going for the copy, but you keep the design the exact same. And then finally, imagery. One thing I will include here, which I haven't, is just subject lines, but that's not really involved in email copy, but it's still something you should definitely test. Now, mistake number 7 is overlooking analytics. So there's only 3 sort of important analytics that you want to assess when it comes to basically the results of A/B testing. So your open rate is of course the percentage of people who have actually opened your email out of the list that you've sent, of course, that email to, right? Click rate, again, is just the percentage of people who opened your email and clicked the call to action on the actual email. So they've gone to the landing page. The placed order rate is essentially the percentage of people who've converted after they've clicked on the call to action. So they've gone to that landing page, then they've bought the product, right? Conclusion. So that's pretty much everything that you've seen for our 7 design mistakes that we see here at Sunlo Consulting. What I would suggest is, if you are a brand owner who's currently earning over 50k per month, then I'd highly advise that you actually go ahead and outsource your email marketing, as it will be too time strenuous. You need people to be consistently split testing different campaigns, flows, and also strategy, right? So there's a lot to it, especially when you want to be consistent and sending out 2 to 3 campaigns per week, which we do for our clients, if not more. So that being said, if you're interested in earning a 30 to 250k plus in 60 days or less guaranteed, please book a call below, and of course I will be on the other side to speak with you, or a member of a team, basically just to give you a free audit, look at what you're currently doing with your email marketing, and just to see if we can actually help you get that guaranteed 30k minimum in 60 days or less. If not, we'll make sure it's jam-packed with value like this video has been, and of course just feel free to go ahead and follow our content for more tips and guides on how to maximize your revenue with email and SMS. Until then, I'll speak to you soon. Thank you.